on, Sean did everything in his power not to admit that I was right and Adam was wrong. But that's a different conversation. So back to you, Mr. Callaghan.
Yes. So we'll turn to that in a moment. What was present for you around, first of all, I'm presuming you've never seen Willy Wonka. Is that fair, Frando?
I was already clenching my teeth going, he's going to ask. I know he's going to ask. So I have on the docket, I'm actually watching Miracle tonight with Martha on our date night, and Willy Wonka is next. So I missed the beginning minutes. I came in as Charlie was speaking to Willy Wonka, and what I caught from there was the power of integrity. That is what was present for me and what I caught there. And I just think back on, our story and how, at all times, when the landslide was possibly not in my favor, how integrity was a key element in what we've built in our relationship. So that is what resonated with me as I caught that clip.
Yeah, and having a little bit of fun or a lot of bit of fun around it. It's like, what if we see ourselves in each of the different roles? What if we all see ourselves as Charlie? And then what if we see ourselves as Willy Wonka? And then what if we see ourselves as Grandpa Joe? So Charlie, let's go. Grandpa Joe is like outraged. He's like, this is wrong. This is not fair. What are you doing? I'm going to get you. Like, this is going to happen. And he's such a wonderful man and loves his grandchild. And he's going to like get even with Willy Wonka because he perceives this like awful thing. Willy Wonka is like, let's go to all the people who we didn't see in the movie were all the folks that came in to take. They're like, what can I get? And yeah, I'm in the factory. I'm going to like take as much as I can. I'm going to steal everlasting gobstoppers. This is about me, significance, like wildly high. At some point, we'll watch the Veruca scene where Veruca is running around the world screaming, I want the world. I want the whole world. And I want it now, right? All over the place. And the things that she just can't have, exactly the things that she wants. So she's not happy in any way, shape, or form ever in her life because she can't have that thing. And without that thing, blah, blah, blah. And that's all four kids. Augustus, Mike TV, Violet, Veruca, all of them were all wanting the thing they couldn't have, which ended up destroying the entire relationship that they could have had magically. Charlie, on the other hand, doesn't make a mistake. Him and Grandpa Joe do something they're not supposed to do. They drink the fizzy lifting drinks. So Grandpa Joe, they're wonderful people, right? We're not making people good or bad. In fact, maybe the other people were actually good people and they were just engaged in their various cries for help, but their cries for help led to massive amounts of being out of alignment and out of integrity in the agreements that were formed there. So Charlie and Grandpa Joe do the same thing, right? And in the end, Grandpa Joe, when confronted by Willy Wonka, and if Willy Wonka meant it, it's like he gets nothing. You broke the rules. You stole fizzy lifting drinks. You signed an agreement. It said, do not drink this. Do not do this. You did. There are consequences. And Willy Wonka says them. And of course, he was engaged in something we'll talk about in a second. So he didn't actually mean it all, right? He was testing Charlie. And so Grandpa Joe is like, that's it. We're going to get you. And it's interesting because Grandpa Joe's a really good dude who broke an agreement. And then he was confronted with the breaking of his agreement. And then he was outraged at the fact that he was confronted. And there were consequences for when he broke the agreement. Ego and significance went wild, right? Good man, ego and significance went wild. Charlie, on the other hand, takes that thing, for those that haven't seen the movie, which is an everlasting gobstopper. And that's the thing that the pretend bad guy, Mr. Slugworth, who came in, because he was actually pretending to be Slugworth, who's a massive competitor of Willy Wonka, he whispered in each of the kids' ear, said, steal an everlasting gobstopper. That's like the big secret, thing, trade secret that Willy Wonka has. And Willy Wonka had, and Slugworth had said the same thing to Charlie, and each of the kids got an everlasting gobstopper. So Slugworth, each of the kids thought they could bring it to Slugworth and get money, right? So that's why Grandpa Joe is like, we're going to get even. We're going to give Slugworth the gobstopper. Like, we're going to get even. The guy that's whispering in her ear, we're going to do what he said, and we're going to bring down Willy Wonka, right? Now, Willy Wonka had this amazing factory making all kinds of secrets and magical things and was open to the world. And then so much taking occurred. People were stealing his ideas. All this stuff was happening that he decided at one point to shut the entire factory and nobody could, and he shut it down for years. Then all of a sudden one day, magically, it starts working again, and chocolate starts coming out again, but it's all locked, and nobody ever sees anybody go out or come in, and nobody has any idea how all this is happening, right? So we won't get into those details. You can watch the movie and understand how all that unfolds. But Willy Wonka vertically innovated, and he decided that there was another way that he would be able to go forward. But he eventually knew that he needed other people. He needed relationships. He didn't want to be alone. And so, did you ever feel that way? Right? Where you want to like shut the whole world out? You want to like close it all down? And you're like, yeah, but I don't think I really want that. And so Willy Wonka decides, like you, like me, like us, that he doesn't want that. And so he comes up with an ingenious plan to find a successor, except he tells no one. And you don't know it the entire movie, right? And so what is going on in that scene when Charlie is giving back the gobstopper, he says, I think he says, so shines a good deed in a weary world. So shines a good deed in a weary world. He was looking for just some value, something to believe in and trust, to buy into Charlie's heroic, unique identity, to find a successor. And that's all he wanted. And he wanted the magic to stay, for it not to be turned into something distorted, to grow and to stay. And that's why he wanted somebody who was honest and loving and innocent and wonderful to build it and grow it. And that's why he like is hugging Charlie and he's like, you won, and sorry for putting you through all that. And it's a suggestion of how you grow and scale. My suggestion to you is don't settle. There will be settling all around you, and nothing will ever be perfect. But don't settle for less than full heart centeredness. Don't settle for less than full alignment. Full alignment on like heart and vision and love for people, on learning growth, on where significance is in the continuum of a relationship. Do not settle. And don't I propose, we do not let our egos to ignore reality. You know, when I was a freshman on my high school football team, which is one of the great experiences of my life, I talked about it a bunch. I wanted to be the running back. I was the fastest player in the team. And I thought that was the best role for me. And the coaches decided that I wasn't going to be the running back. And I was heartbroken. And I wanted to take my ball and I wanted to go home. I want to take my ball and I wanted to go home. And I went home that day and I said to my mom and my stepfather, I said, listen, I don't really want to do this. The coach is nuts. He's crazy. It was Coach Slazak. He's screaming at us the entire time. He's out of his mind. And I'm not playing running back, and that's not the reason I want to quit, but I just want to quit. And of course, that was as much, if not more, of the reason I wanted to quit. And my parents did a beautiful thing and said, we love you. You don't have to play next year, but you're not quitting and you're playing. I was like, no, wow, right. And I went back, and Coach Slazak, to this day, you hear me tell stories about him and what extraordinary impact he had on all of our lives, and quite frankly, your life, by being on here. And I didn't have what I wanted. So like all the other kids in Willy Wonka, I wanted to have it my way. I want to take my ball and go home. I want to take it over there. And the reality was that high school football and the team dynamic and all of us finding our roles in our relationships was as extraordinary an experience as I've ever had in my team life. Whether it was work for pay, athleticness, that team, that dynamic was utterly extraordinary, and has seen its mirror in a few situations in my life with Bob Perry, Tom LaGreca, medical revenue recovery. Not exactly the same, but there's mirrors there. Michael Smikin in the top 100 jury verdict, Adam and Fernando, and all of you and what we're building, creating here. I mean, at just such a larger scale and impact than any of them, of course. But that's right there for his magical team dynamic of committed people, because everybody was committed to doing the things that were uncomfortable, that they didn't want to do. And like that was present. So Adam Gugino, any thoughts on any of these things, including the Willy Wonka video on this Fun Friday, and the fact, which we can get to second, that Fernando was saying that he was right and you were wrong, but we'll get to that after whatever is initially present.
So beautiful, because I definitely, I wanted to get to that, and I'm already like, we'll get there. Misportrayal, but we'll get there. So I want to just say, so much is there. And quick story, I've told it to you, and I could feel like I could write a book on it. But back when I was 13 years old playing baseball, I told you, Sean, and there was 2 teams for the summer league, and me and my 2 friends, like, all we cared about was making the A team to play ball together. And we had tryouts, and we prepared, and we were ready, and we had the most amazing tryouts. And sure enough, when they picked the A team and the B team, they picked my 2 best friends to go on the A team, and they put me on the B team. And the coach came over and said, Adam, don't worry, you're going to play. You're going to be a captain. I went home. I cried for like 2 days straight. My mom literally had to get me out of bed and say, Adam, you love baseball. I was like, I quit. I'm not playing. There's no way. My best friends are playing over there. She's like, you love baseball. You have to play. So sure enough, that year I played like every game. We lost like almost every game, the Summer All-Stars. That team went off to play in Georgia, won the championship, like crushed it. And they came back and they said, Adam, we sat the bench the whole entire year. Like, as much as we wanted to be here, like we didn't have summer. So sure enough, I said, guys, play on our team the next year. So the next year we had a tryouts. We didn't even go. We were like, listen, we're staying here. The 2 of those guys came on the B team, and we played together that summer. And we were like, we won 50% of our games. And then sure enough, we had the championship, and we were actually the championship tournament, and we won the first 2, the first 3. And we had to go head to head, Fairlawn against Fairlawn A team, Fairlawn B team in Fairlawn home. All the teams from Paramus, Emerson, all over the place were playing. So we had to play Fairlawn A versus B. Not only did we win, we mercy ruled them to nothing. I went 4 for 4. I hit a home run. I hit the green monster, and it was the greatest feeling moment of my life. We celebrated. Oh my God. It was, to this day, like, we tell the story, and it was the most amazing experience sports wise. I learned so many lessons, and so that's what I thought of when you.
And what lessons did you learn?
I learned that, well, first, what you just described, don't let your ego ignore reality, because my ego, my significance was so at play. I should have been there. I should be on the A team. This kid, his father is the coach. Like, all of that was that I don't want to play baseball. But what I learned was, look, my heart was I loved baseball at that time. And the fact that I was going to walk away from, that summer and like go home and pout and not do what I wanted to do most of all. And then clearly, to have been given the opportunity, not first, and Sean, I could go on and on about the coaches. If it not for those coaches, then would have had no chance. They played us like we had 2 practices a day. They would rip the ball. One of the coaches was a major league pitcher, and he threw this curveball. He was a lefty, and you'd foul it off your shins. And he was a major league pitcher playing on a farm league field. Yeah. He didn't hold back. Like, he threw 70 miles an hour at us, or if not faster. So many lessons, but that definitely being the main one.
Brother, that is awesome. Talent hotbed, underdogs prevailing, like Karate Kid, Cobra Kindness, like circulating. Awesome.
And just for additional little fun energy, as my family has conditioned me that poking at each other is like the most expressive way to show fun. If any of you have met my brother, you understand that. Adam, lovingly, I believe this is a much more efficient HUI story in you in sports than you playing pickleball. So I'm just gonna drop that in there. That this has way more gravitational pull, And Sean,
Yeah.
thank you.
Way more gravitational pull. Way more gravitational pull. I agree with that. And for all you out there, like, where has your significance almost cost you, right? And when in hindsight, reflecting, it was a gift. So in the last few minutes, let's touch on how to get booked for speaking, optimal speaking engagements, and what we're talking about. So let's step into this really quickly. Do we have Bella floating around? Because this was a meaningful topic in the world of Bella. Going once.
Bella is currently not floating around.
Going twice. Okay. So let's lean on this. Adam Gugino, right? Let's say that you're going to get booked to speak somewhere. Let's role play that real quick. Give me a ring. And by the way, optimal speaking avatar is wherever your client base would most be assembled. And I will flag in the ground. Our self-mastery is like brutal in this place. If I'm going to give a collective grade of the world, brutal grade. Everybody's like, oh, I could just go Facebook Live. That's a speaking engagement. Oh, I could just go on my friend's podcast. Right? Speaking engagement, optimal avatar takes some ecosystem merging, takes some work, because the math of it is mind-boggling. Mind-boggling. Kayla, phenomenally successful stage booker, talked about it the other night on Monday night. And I couldn't agree more that you could speak in front of a group of 20 people that are relevant, optimal clients for you versus a room of 2,000. And depending upon edification, relevance to what you do, the group of 20 may be way, way better than the group of 2,000. What happens for us, though, is our significance can come up around, I'm speaking, there's a crowd, it feels good, or at least I could just go on. I don't have to deal with the friction and potential rejection of like getting something booked. And reminder, the amazing Jason Sipple is like, yeah, I like haven't called any professional organizations around ecosystem merging or speaking as of yesterday. That's changing as of today. And yesterday. So optimal speaking avatar, already assembled groups. What is also mind-numbing for me as a check-in is, where are you in booking? I bring 5. Ready? Adam brings 5, Fernando brings 5, I bring 5. I've said it about 175 times. That is how we built Practice Mastery Caliggy Law. That is how we generated unbelievable amounts of clients. We had a marketing person to doctors. We had somebody that did intraoperative monitoring during surgeries, a company that did that, and Caliggy Law, and we did events. We had other partners that would come in, but they'd always bring 5, like 5, we bring 5. And sometimes, we make a mistake and there'd be 10 practices there. Sometimes it'd be amazing. There'd be like 100 practices there. I think might've been our high watermark. And we teach the formula. We'd add value. It was not a real raw at some respects, much more expensive, much more elaborate, but we were like teaching the formula, we're adding value, and we all generate clients. And instead of it being like randomized of like, okay, let me like cold call a doctor's office, which we did some of for sure, but we would bring them there. We'd use both tools, right? And we'd have groups of neurosurgeons and orthopedic surgeons. So anybody's like, they won't take the time. Really? I don't know, man. And at Practice Mastery, we had neurosurgeons. At Practice Mastery, we had orthopedic surgeons. At Practice Mastery, we had chiropractors, physical therapists, owners of MRI companies, owners of surgical centers. Then we started doing them in hospitals, like all the same stuff we're talking about. So how and why would somebody do that? So Adam, real quick, right? Let's say that you are, let's say you're a coach, Fernando is an accountant, and I'm an attorney, right? You're a coach, Fernando's an accountant, I'm an attorney. Tell me why I'd want to bring you in to speak. So, and I've told you, we built rapport, right, for speed. And I'm like, well, okay, yeah, of course, I'd love to grow my business. I'd love to like scale and build something. Yeah, absolutely. Like so you take me and my pain of like, I'd be, really frustrated if I didn't grow and scale my business. And I have a big vision to make my firm a lot bigger and have a lot more free time. So that's what you have. Now it's your turn to deliver your HUI, right? So give me 30 seconds on your HUI and 30 seconds into agreement. That's what you got total. So go.
Mr. Callaghan, I have been building and scaling businesses for the last 2 decades. And the last company I was at, I took from 3 million to $750 million, 0 to 500 employees.
All right, stop. Amazing. And people might be going, I don't have that one. So let's take that away. Amazing, Adam. Amazing, right? I might give an acknowledgement, and then I might give like a scotoma question, but what you did was amazing, right? So let's take that away. Let's go back to, you're talking to a lawyer and you haven't done what you just described, built a $750 million company. You haven't been number one in the country at ADP. And what you have done is not even the sandbar. Tell me your Little League baseball story.
Oh, this is great.
As your HUI to how I would want to do a speaking engagement together with you. That's all you got. There's no sandbars, no nothing. All you got is the Little League baseball story to turn into in 30 seconds why I would want to do a speaking engagement with you. This is hard. This is what you paid the big bucks for. Let's go. So yeah, like Adam, of course, I want to build up. Of course I want to build and scale. Like, and yeah, I'm frustrated. Like I make money, but I do want to have more time and scale. And if I never got there, this would be horrible. Absolutely horrible. And I would really feel like I wasted a lot of my potential and talent for sure.
Yeah, well, Mr. Callaghan, imagine that feeling. Imagine being a 13-year-old boy and all you want to do in life, like you want to be successful, you want to play baseball with your best friends on the best team in town. And you go for tryouts to play on that team and you don't make it and they do. You're crushed. Your dreams are crushed. Your summer is destroyed. You have an opportunity to play on another team while they go off and win the championship and you go off and lose every game. But one thing you did get to do was you played ball every single day for that entire summer. And the next year, your two friends decide, you know what? I want to play with you because you got to play. We didn't. And they came over on that team that next summer. And I was made the captain of that team. And we played that summer every single day, nonstop together. We won 50% of our games and made it to the tournament. First two games we won. Third, semifinals, playing head to head against the A team. Me and my two friends, we didn't just win, we crushed the A team and we became champions that year. We won 13-0. I was 4 for 4 with a home run and we celebrated together. And sure enough, those two friends of mine are still friends to this day. And they are both incredible business owners. And we all still tell that story of leadership. So my question to you is, would you like to share a stage with me, share that story, and let's become heroes and partners together in this?
All right, excellent work. I'm going to pause. I want to lean in on a couple of things. Excellent, Adam. Fernando, how would you optimize that in 30 seconds? Go. Tell that
you're optimize that.
You're Adam. Just do it.
Okay, so
in 30 seconds. You got 30 seconds.
Okay. So Adam, so Sean, thank you first off, for sharing with me all that you're looking to accomplish. And listen, if you wouldn't mind me asking, just one more final question. I'd love to share with you what I can bring to you, your team, and your future partners. What exactly do you look for in a speaker?
I look for somebody that has heart, charisma, energy, a little entertaining. And it's going to deliver a meaningful message, make the event better.
Yeah, listen, amen. And I want to be respectful of our time together. And I'd love to share with you some of the accomplishments I've had, in business. But what I really believe would resonate is I remember being 13 years old. And, I think you were 13 once too. And I had an affinity for baseball. And I loved a lot about baseball. I loved the unity. I loved the team. I loved the ability to compete. And let's keep it real. I loved being able to win. And I remember I was 13 years old and I wanted to make the A team with my two best friends. And that's all that mattered. And it wasn't about like making the A team. It was about creating a shared experience with two individuals that I wanted to co-create with, partner with per se. And I was leading, the trio forward. And as I fast forward the story, we were all committed to making the A team. And we practiced, and I was committed, and I was a leader. And
Can I jump in and support real quick? Because excellent. How do we optimize? And so quick optimization in 30 seconds, and we're going to be creating context. So context. So once framing, right? Framing. So the frame is like, watch how beautiful story, watch how much richer it becomes when we put context around it. So yeah, Fernando, thank you so much. I am clear on what you want as a speaker. I'm hearing you want somebody who is going to make this event better and people are going to really resonate with. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah, that would certainly be the goal.
Okay. So if I may, what I also heard is that your firm has some degree of what I would call significance rising in and amongst the people. And it's understandable, it's normal, meaning egos come up and people are not confronting their fears and they want to like take their stuff and go home. And I certainly have a lot of stuff in business that's relevant, but would I be serving you if I were to deliver to you a talk that would disrupt that powerfully and be incredibly entertaining and non-threatening? Would that resonate for you?
I am curious on how you're going to make that happen. Yeah.
So that's a frame. Let's out of roll for a second. Adam, Fernando, all. Do you feel the frame?
I do. And it makes every point in the story resonate that much more.
Yeah. So we've created a frame, right? Re-listen to that. This is recorded. Frame. Then it's short. Think of the most impactful parts of the story if you have 30 seconds. So it would sound like my best friends and I should have been on the A team. I'm 13 years old. They make it, I get cut. Cut's an important word. Cut. Makes it more dramatic. And that's what happened.
It is.
Right? They tell me I'm on the B team. I cry for 2 days. I tell my mom, I'm done with baseball. I'm brokenhearted. And I feel that I've been politically wrong. And it's a bunch of daddy ball is in play. Right? Dramatic language, daddy ball. Right? Cut, daddy ball. And resonant principles of like darkness. That summer, we lose every game. I have a great season, we lose every game. The next summer, my two friends who sat the bench in this team that went to the championship, they were heartbroken too. And they got daddy balled. So we got together and said, let's have some fun and let's build this B team together. We had incredible coaches and leaders. Our team, which by the way, I didn't want to play on, I was going to quit, pack it in. Thank God from my mother, right? Our moms know a lot of the time. Can you believe this? We end up making it all the way to the championship game against the A team that had won a championship in Georgia the year before. And we're going to get killed, of course. We were like a 500 team that summer. But everything goes right. In like a Karate Kid meets Rocky moment unleashed, we not only beat the A team, the daddy ballers, but we end up mercying them. And what that taught me was everything about business and life. And Fernando, if your firm gives me 30 minutes to deliver that story and the lessons about significance and breakthrough and life, it will not only make the event better, I will drop the mic or never come near you ever again. How does that sound for you?
I feel like you're LeBron James and I'm like a high school left bench. That was freaking remarkable. And for everyone, so we don't miss the magic, just please, and I say this from my heart, no ego or significance, do we realize how leveraging someone like Sean or Sean to speak on our behalf, if we're the reason for Sean bringing, or someone like Sean or you bringing this type of energy into a group, do we realize the heroic, unique identity riser that would do for us? And that's the power of leveraging the skill of influence and ecosystem merging. And I wanted to just encapsulate that and say, well done, Mr. Callaghy. You have showed us again that we have much to learn in our mastery.
Yeah, listen, and thank you. Outcomes though, context, the power of anchoring on contrast, light, dark, context, contrast, right? Daddy ball, resonant, higher vibration.
Sean, really, I want to add the word cut. I've told that story. I mean, not when I worked at, previous company, I did tell it on the leadership development classes we were doing. And that one word, I've always looked to find it. I never used it. But when you said it, it just hit hard. And I remember that was what brought me to tears. It was the feeling not of being put on the A team, it was being cut. I mean, a B team, it was being cut.
And it's so powerful that Adam had to speak into it. He felt it, right? That's how powerful it is. So context and contrast, by the way, are part of HUI delivery. And they're also going to become indispensable elements number 11 and 12. Because we have been digging into like, okay, what more? And it's there in HUI delivery, but we're bringing it out more powerfully by making those actually indispensable elements, 11 and 12. Like there's amendments to the Constitution, there's additions to the indispensable elements, right? Context, contrast, in getting booked to speak. Note to file, the HUI we delivered did not talk about top 100 jury verdicts. It did not talk about $10 million Tony stages. It did not talk about 750 million. It did not talk about number one EDP, right? Just in case you're out there thinking you don't have a heroic story, you do. You do. You do. When you did the right thing, when you found money on the floor, when you gave to a charity, when you encouraged somebody, you are a hero. You are a hero. You are a hero. Charlie Bucket was a hero and got the chocolate factory just because he put the gobstopper back in love, integrity, and authenticity. You are Charlie. You are. You have that. We have that. We all have that. Accessing it energetically, communicating about it equals a yes to get on somebody's stage and enrich the environment and raise the vibration and the energy of the room. Charlie, raise the vibration and energy of the room. Softly, quietly, powerful, in mother effing Zeus energy. When his grandfather said, "Let's go, Charlie," he said, "Mr. Wonka." Boom. Zeus energy, decision, power. It's all there. Mastery. Love you guys. It is Fun Friday. P.S. Right? On our way out from today, let's go higher by Creed. Higher by Creed this Fun Friday. And remember, tomorrow, 11 a.m., 12:15, 1:45, 1:45, right? 11, 12:15, 1:30, 2:45, 4 different start times. We're going to have competitions. You can compete in all of them and have an amazing fun day. We're going to have like winners and like scoring and like brackets and like, you know, the HUI off, the cold call off, the acknowledgement off, like all those things are going to be occurring. Bring people. If you want to like meet people, grow on Clubhouse, that's what's happening. We'll drop more in the elite chat. We'll text some more stuff out. No requirement to be there. You're not like missing the world if you're not. Better to make phone calls tomorrow. But if you're not making phone calls, or doing something magical with loved ones, then be there. That will be the next third thing. Like, if you're not in like super zone action and you're just gonna be like watching TV and chilling, not doing something magical, then do this. We're in deep in R&D laboratory. We're gonna be on fire tomorrow. And you can model, learn how to accelerate Clubhouse, expand on Clubhouse. What I am very confident is going to become the cornering of the market of Clubhouse. It begins tomorrow. And we're going to drop in and play a little bit today in a couple minutes with, I think, Tony Rodriguez, Peter Swain, anybody else who wants to jump in and grab the microphone. We're going to do right now some cold call offness happening on the roads. Unblinded. I think it's cold call mastery. Influence Mastery is what's called. Cold Call Challenge, Influence Mastery, Unblinded. Yep, and it'll be under, I think, my phone number online. So we'll see you in a couple of minutes. Hire by Creed. Love you guys. Have a great day.